So it's nice to know that we're not adding additional Coke machines. However, since you want to spend the proceeds obtained from these Coke machines on undocumented immigrants rather than, can you explain why you'd rather spend them on undocumented immigrants rather than on documented citizens who don't have funds to go to college?
You know, I did not say I was going to spend them, all right? We're only 2 people here. You gotta listen up. What I said, what you asked me, the question was, what other choices or programs would I institute to help out these young men? I said, there's a possibility of using the Coke machine. Proceeds. I also said for the music department, I would do it. All right, so I just spoke because there's Brian, and Brian taking notes now.
Okay, our Coke proceeds will be used for music and for undocumented scholarships.
No, you're saying that it's going to be used for school in general. You guys got it, right? School in general. Whether it's computers, whether it's those banners that I mentioned we're going to put throughout the Wise Field and the parking lots. So the monies that come from the student body will be spent for the student body.
And how much are we going to be charging for these Cokes?
She must be with Pepsi, I think. I believe they charge us at 50 cents. Is it $1? All right, is that what it is? Wow. Then it should be $120,000. We only charged 50 cents and we made like $40,000.
Let's get off Coke machines.
Yes, please.
Okay, have you relocated to Waukegan yet? And if not, when do you plan to do so?
Yeah, I live right now about a block from Lake County. So, yeah, that's the way it is. I live near Lake Cook, and did I see you there that weekend? That was anyway, I'm a half a block from that. So anyway, but I've been looking around here. I even looked at a house near the high school there. It's a little house, but it's got a beautiful vacant lot that I'd like to hopefully build on it. And I made an offer. And when I do, I'll have you over for steaks and a Coke.
Since we are on the subject of residency, Dr. Batiste, now that you've had a chance to consider your options, do you plan on becoming a fully engaged member of the Waukegan community and moving here into Waukegan?
I don't think I can become any more involved in the Waukegan community. I spend more time here than I spend in my house. So my residency is Waukegan. I'm there sometimes as early as 7:30 in the morning, and the custodian has to come to my office and knock and say, "Doc, it's time to go home, we have to leave." And that's not only true since I become superintendent, it was before that time. So residency is a local issue, and it's certainly one that was a part of my contract, and I know that it was a contentious one. But no, I am still deliberating.
Don't sit down, I have more questions. Okay, this is a two-part question. Okay, first off, why is it taking so long to hire an athletic director? And secondly, do you believe that is a conflict of interest for a coach to be the director?
It's taking us so long to hire an athletic director because it was brought to my attention was some improprieties or some inconsistencies in the interviewing process. And when I verified with those who were involved in that process, those allegations were verified. And before the recommendations were made to me, I declared the process null and void because I was not going to move forward with an interview that was tainted or had the suspicion of it being tainted. And I pulled it, and I was not here. I was not in when the original job posting was made, and I reviewed the job posting, and there were some loopholes that were in that process. It was not as explicit as it needed to be. It could not it could not stand muster. And so when we strengthened it, we re-advertised, and that process just closed this past Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And we have involved all those people who had applied for the first time and met the criteria to involve them in the interview process. And as of yesterday afternoon, we had contacted each of them and gotten their word whether they wanted to be interviewed again, or if they declined, And several of them did decline, and for multiple reasons, but we have a total of 8 applicants who are still holding firm to their commitment to seek the position of high school athletic director. And the second part of your question was concerning the conflict of interest. I don't call it so much a conflict of interest as I think it's just, it's double dipping. If we're going to pay you for a job to be the athletic director, you're supposed to be the athletic director in charge of all athletic programs. And if we're going to take time or allow you an opportunity to coach during that job that we're already paying you, unless you're doing it for free, what's the point? And you certainly can't be in multiple places at one time. And I think that the job of athletic director is so important that the person who has it needs to spend full-time energies monitoring and supporting the coaches who are part of that arena.
Can you just please hold your response, your thoughts to the end? That would be appreciated. Okay, Dr. Batiste, another question for you. How can District 60 afford to furnish a car for yourself, our new financial officer, and Dr. Lamping, who commutes to and from Rockford every day, when our district is so strapped for cash?
Those are parts, for those of you who are not aware, the superintendency is a position that comes with, we call them perks, if you will, and among them is the automobile. And those were parts of the contract. The superintendents before me had them, and I suspect that those after me, depending on the board until they change the policy, will be the same. So I didn't institute it. I didn't request to have this as an addition to my contract. It was a natural part of the boilerplate contracts for superintendents.
Okay, we understand that it is part of your contract, and we appreciate that piece of it. However, you do, as the superintendent, have the option to refuse that vehicle and therefore save the district that extra expense. As superintendent, you do have that option.
That was never called to my attention, and I've known other people. I'm not aware that that has ever been under discussion. I have the vehicle, and my intent is to keep it because I'm earning it. If I were not doing my job, I would give it back. But I'm doing mine plus others. Thank you.
Next question is, when will the board begin to post the minutes on the district's website? This was required by law as of July 1, 2006.
The law is that only the approved minutes can be posted. I think the first set of approved open session minutes went through last night at that board meeting. So once they're approved by the board is when they are required to be posted on the web.
Mm-hmm. Okay, speaking to the firm that we hired to, the consulting firm that we hired to engage Dr. Guerra, Mr. Guerra, do you believe that they owe us a refund? Do you believe that they actually, sorry, I'm not phrasing this question correctly. Do you believe that the consulting firm that we retained to hire Mr. Guerra here, do you believe that they actually performed the duties that we requested of them, and the fact that they did not investigate his background fully?
I'm not aware of the search firm not fulfilling their obligations to the contract that, or the expectations that were given to them by the former superintendent and by the board.